What do you make of what Aaron Rodgers had to say right there?
First of all, big shout to sipping tequila. And 4 fingers is a lot of tequila. Like, that's a lot of tequila, Aaron Rodgers. That must have been a big night for him. But I think everyone's focused on the tequila. But you brought up the most important part. He said in that interview, I wanted to play my whole career in Green Bay. He said in that interview, I wanted to play my whole career in Green Bay. He's already got 1 foot out of the door. And this team went 13-3 last year. Why are you trying to improve at the quarterback position? If you're Aaron Rodgers and you're looking at the draft, you're thinking, I wouldn't mind playing with T. Higgins. I wouldn't mind playing with Michael Pittman Jr. You know what? Clyde Edwards-Helaire would be really nice to be in the backfield with me. And guess what? All of those players were drafted after Jordan Love was drafted. I understand why Aaron Rodgers feels this way, and I also understand why he's drinking so much tequila. It sounds delicious. Tim?
I'm up here. Listen, the reality of it is like, I don't think this is a concession speech. So I don't know that I would say he has 1 foot out the door, but I do think it's just kind of like this weird acknowledgement that even though he has good football left, that he very well may end up finishing somewhere else. And so typically for players, that usually happens later. I mean, you think about Peyton Manning, it had to be after a neck injury. You think about Brett Favre, he had thought about retiring basically for like 5 off seasons in a row. You look at the situation with Brady, I think it was a little bit unique. For Aaron, here's a guy that really has a lot of good football in front of him saying, looking at the situation and going, wait a second, like there's going to be this weird situation where they either have to basically move on from a first-round draft pick or let me go somewhere else. And so I just think this ends up being a situation for him where he really is saying all the right things. Like, he's basically saying, look, I was hurt by it, but I called Jordan the next day. Like, I think partly what he is doing is getting even more kind of respect out of the fan base of the Green Bay Packers. So when it is time for the Packers to make that decision and they decide to move on from a quarterback that's still playing at a Pro Bowl level, people are going to be like, why are we doing this? Why did we draft Jordan Love, and why are we doing this now with Aaron Rodgers?
Tim, I like to judge success based on realistic expectations, and I truly feel the Green Bay Packers did this incorrectly. There's one thing to draft a quarterback, and we know how important a backup quarterback could be. Ask Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles. I understand that. But when you take him in the first round, you said it, it becomes awkward, not only in the locker room, but for your franchise player that he now knows he's not retiring a Green Bay Packer. That hurts a player, especially when you've accomplished so very much, you've been there your entire career, and you still have great football left to play, and prematurely, they're basically telling you to flip over the hourglass, because we know how this works. Maximum 2 years, if you take a guy in the first round, you got to put him on the field. Nowadays, they're picking people in the first round and putting them out there. Look at Kyler Murray and how well he played last year. So to have a first-round quarterback sitting behind Aaron Rodgers and having Aaron Rodgers unhappy with the franchise, it should have people around the league positioning to see what happens when Aaron Rodgers shakes loose. And I don't believe Cam Newton plays more than 1 season in New England. I feel like he's going to get his value back and leave. I'm watching you, Bill Belichick, is all I got to say.
Tim, before you jump in here, though, let me just add one point. Let's not forget the fact that the Packers brought in Jordan Love. We're talking about the first round here, is that Aaron Rodgers was clamoring to get talent around him. So just the fact that they didn't think it was necessary to bring in pieces to help him, that's egregious as well.
Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. And you listed Jacoby listed some of the players that were available, and Aaron even alluded to it. Like, hey, how about we draft a wide receiver, to help me out? And oh, by the way, now in this current situation, Devin Funchess, who you sign in free agency, he's out. So now your wide receiver position that you already weren't crazy about just got a whole lot worse because he opted out because of the current situation that we're in. So, look, they were a 13-3 team last year. Jacoby said that as well. This was a good team that I think is actually pretty close. So if you're Aaron, you're going, wait a second, just even look at my contract as well. Like, why do you think you're that close to moving on from me? Okay, I would just say this. Aaron, I think for the most part, is saying all the right things. He really is. But this has to feel like so much betrayal for a guy that feels like he's so close and is looking around saying, hey, how about a little more help? I mean, look, even if you don't move up to take some of the guys, how about a guy like Chase Claypool, who the Steelers drafted in the second round? Like, you think Ben Roethlisberger was happy to see him? Of course he was. So I think Aaron is in a really unique situation where he literally could throw, over 60 touchdowns over the next 2 seasons. And then the Packers are in a situation where they're like, yeah, and we're going to let you go. And I think Jalen is on the money. The rest of the league should absolutely be looking around at the situation and being like, all right, where are we in 2 years at the quarterback position? And if, in fact, he was on the trading block, would we be in a position to go get him?
The whole relationship between Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers has been so fraught with drama the entire time that he has been there. It's interesting to follow. And you also think of this. It reminded me a little bit about The Last Dance, that documentary that the whole world watched about a couple months ago, because it does seem like we're getting to this end with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, but I don't really understand why. They were a game away from the Super Bowl and they won 13 regular season games. It doesn't make sense to me, yet it seems inevitable for some reason. And I love Jalen putting him on the Patriots so much. Jalen just put him on the Patriots.
Well, here's what happens, and please correct me, Tim, if I'm wrong. When you bring in new leadership at GM and coach, and the quarterback has been there and had success before them, at some point in their mind, they probably want to reset the clock and turn the page and have a roster that they feel like they crafted, they nurtured, and they built versus him having success before they arrived.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.